So, it's interesting how this worked out. With that happening, is that I can see people coming on here. Okay. Let's forget about what made this possible. But I made it possible. So, that's really important. What I want to talk about today has nothing related to DMAC. It has nothing to relate to, Jessup or anything else. This relates to why I do what I do, my intentions, and what propels me to do what I do. On one hand, I have a desire, I have an internal visceral feeling, and I want to go after what I want to go after. And then on the other hand, I know that it's probably not right for me. But I still continue to do it. And whenever I talk about the situations that I literally get myself into, it does feel really trivial to talk about. And it also feels embarrassing to talk about. And it makes me a little bit uncomfortable to talk about this. It does. I don't think I would bring myself to put this out there. I mean, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and while there's a whole metaphor about ropes and about bridging people together and making connections, you also need to be mindful about what connections you form with one person versus the other person, because then that would affect your association. It would either stay positive, or get neutral, or become negative or very negative, depending upon what rope that you're creating, what person or situation you're tying into the other situation. So if it is someone that's really valuable to you, who is very valuable to you, that really like and love, and they have certain lessons to teach. Well, I shouldn't say that. They have things to share. They have messages and wisdom to share, let's just say. And then you merge this person with somebody else that you don't like, whom you're not drawn to, you reject. you have problems with in terms of relationships, and when you express that person to the person that you don't like, and express means sort of teach somebody a lesson. That's part of what it means. It can also mean show somebody what you want to show them that is different than them. But it's someone whom you want them to say that is different than them, that is fuel to go against somebody or say something or prove something very different than they believe in or they've taught. It's like the teacher gives this rule, this person gives this rule, has this limitation, and then you show somebody else whom you agree with and you like and you're connected with, and you use that person to express the person that you don't like, or you yourself express by taking something off of what somebody else said. Hopefully it has enough substance to it, by saying something that's very different than the person that you want to express, something that they don't believe in, to teach them something, to show them something, to to make them understand something, or prove something to somebody that you don't like and that you feel against. That's what express means. So while you can bridge ropes, by all means, but I am at a place where I need to be really careful of the associations I form, because I could easily be feeling guilty and like I ruined something, or tainted something, or impurified something, or viewing that person in a different way, maybe in a less positive way, because I bridged this person to this other person who I, in my mind, in my heart also, not just the ego mind, but internally, view as I don't like. Like I don't like this person. And yet I'm showing somebody that I do like let's just say a video of somebody that I follow that I really do like, showing it to this person. And while you might feel like they need to hear this, it would be good for them to hear this, you can end up taking a wrong turn, and you can end up forming a negative association, because now this person has been exposed to this person that you like, and sort of their kind of influence of that person, infusing it into what they say or what they do, what they believe in. It might be pet rock, might be just especially if the lessons are like, I'm inviting you to be this way, and and this person takes this other person's lessons from the person that you do like, and he or she has that in mind and displays it in his or her own unique way. The person that we're talking about, the person that you don't like now, displays it in his or her own unique way. And sometimes what happens is that person that you don't like is now saying things from the very person that you do like, and you still don't like this person. And you may end up liking them less. You may end up, out of that influence, liking them for another reason, because now you've had this influence on this person, and then they're having that. And so now you have another reason to dislike them, unless you can suddenly see the light in them truly, and I mean truly, without wine having to be acquired. Or this is not this is not a relationship which requires having to work at. And I use those words, which are low frequency words, work at the relationship. And I use those on purpose, just so you know. I use those words intentionally. It should not be a relationship that you have with somebody if you're expressing them with someone else or something else or yourself. Because then you can, read yourself differently, and then you feel bad about yourself and what you did, and then reevaluate and not feel so strong with your beliefs and your opinions that this person is carrying it around and saying what you said, and you're going, well, I don't know about that. I wish I didn't pass that around. I wish I kind of kept that to myself and didn't form that association that I would have to my own beliefs with somebody else. I don't like carrying around my beliefs or somebody else's beliefs that you're using to express that person. And unless you can truly see the light within them, the heart within them, you truly feel connected, and it truly feels at home. You feel at home, like internally. The relationship feels right. It's an exhale, not an inhale. Relationships is a more relaxed feeling. Feels right in your intuition and inner knowing. You can get along with them without having to get your heart and your mind in a certain mode before interacting with them, to like them, to agree with them. Just like I did not like Mr. Tyson. And I'm saying all this because I did it, and I know from experience that I do regret having him watch a video of one of the astrologers that I follow. I'm not going to say who it is, but I had him watch a video of that, and somehow you may be, when you're bridging a rope, you may be forming a negative resemblance, and you may be making a negative association. And when you go back to watch this person, you may not see them the same way again. Instead, you may see the similarity of someone that you didn't like. You may see something in them that is like that person that you didn't like. And you may feel differently or less than about that, or about that person, whomever or whoever it may be. And then they may remind you of that person that you don't like, particularly if that person agrees with the values and opinions of that person that you used to express them. And then now you're watching this person, you hear all those things. And depending upon whether the person that you want to express used any of, said, especially preached any of those beliefs or feelings or, opinions out there. I mean, depending upon how much this person that you want to express has done that. And, just I want to say, if the person agrees with this person's values, meaning the person that you want to express agrees with the person that you use to express this person's values. And now you've seen this you're going back to see this person again that you used to express this other person, and now you've formed negative association and negative resemblance, and you feel tainted, or you may have a slight dislike and maybe a slight distaste for that person depending upon the situation. And then you may feel the regret from that. So I'm just saying, while you can form those resemblances, it is important to be aware of what you're forming and some possible negative resemblances. And I want to say similar differences. Two people can be different, but in a way they bond because of those similarities, but maybe also because of their differences as well. Who knows? But just kind of food for thought there, and a tip there, just for life and for the inventions in general. And so I sort of got off on that whole tangent about that. So what I wanted to chat about today is, and also I'm talking about resemblances. It actually ties in rather well because you, in a way, you're always forming bridges and ropes and forming associations because you put yourself in this situation. You end up with this resemblance. Maybe you see or view yourself in a different way because of this. You view your opinions, beliefs, thoughts, through this person or this situation in a different way, because these things do have influence on you and they do shape you. We can, we're shaped by those situations in our lives and those relationships that we have. So we're always forming ropes. And so in a way, I formed a negative rope or negative resemblance to, I want to say, not all the parks in Indianola, but one in particular. And let me just be honest up front, is that there are certain things I will never do in my life, certain things I won't bring myself to do, and there are certain things that aren't just right for me, and that goes for everyone. There's certain groups of people and certain activities that resonate with you and others that don't, or that are authentic to you. So, for example, something in a situation that would underneath everything not be authentic to me would be skateboarding and hanging around with people. This is where it gets embarrassing and uncomfortable. From the skate park in Indianola. And it almost feels like when I say that I might as well be talking about sex. I might as well be talking about something really taboo. That's how it feels when I talk about this. And I question why I talk about this. It isn't me. Although it is, but I don't know. But so over the course of now it's 2 years, almost 2 years, I have been repeatedly going on my scooter. It's actually been longer than that. But I've been going on my scooter not for solely just going on my scooter and riding around, going places, which is, what you really should go on it for. But my motives and intentions for why I've done this is because I live nearby several different parks, and there are occasionally kids that come to those parks. And I am just going to say that I am really drawn to and interested in hanging around people my age, maybe a little bit above that, and then below. I want to say up to about 8 or 9 or 10. So that range of people. And males of that kind of age range, I want to say. Maybe starting at like 13 onwards to about 21, 22. So that's when I do find people that are, first of all, alone and with people of that age, meaning not children with their parents. Other than children with their parents. When I find those male individuals from that 13 through 22, or maybe 12 through 22 age range, then I am really drawn to that. And sometimes I have laid awake at night feeling internal feelings of desire and feeling guilt for not taking enough advantage in the past, feeling like a sort of calling to do something and to go to a situation that is not right for me. And so it just comes and it goes. And when something comes and goes, when sometimes it feels right, other times it doesn't. I don't know about that. I could compare going to this, skateboard park or, skate park setting, obviously when people are there. I'm saying this under a progressed mood and cancer, so I'm, really doing very well for the privacy and the, emotional sensitivity that cancer has as a sign. And that setting and those situations could be compared to the relationship I had with Mr. Tyson. Sometimes I liked him and I was drawn to certain qualities about him, and I wanted to get to know him on a deeper level. Other times I did not like him and I rejected qualities. And there were certain things that pulled me away and did not resonate and were not right for me in terms of that relationship. It didn't seem to flow. And this person was not right for me and did not resonate with me. And yet other times there was this feeling of wanting to do it because I was in a certain mood or state of being open-minded, open-hearted. And there were some customs of this person that I really liked. Other customs, not so much. But then what about the positive customs that sort of made that up? And then you have the negative customs and the negative qualities and traits and characteristics you see about this person. It was almost as if I couldn't get this person out of my mind. I didn't feel like I had enough of this person. And I wanted more, but at the same time, I didn't want any more. And I wanted to be done. I wanted to move on. Where the whole crush shy away deal is not present in relationships, where that is the case, then you may find someone that you like, genuinely like, where it is that you feel at home and it feels, right, you're in right balance and you're connecting with this person, then yeah, that's, right for you. And so it's kind of the same thing where that desire and that longing came, right? I even wrote a song about it in our relationship, multiple songs. That positive feeling was there so that I could invite this person to the Edmonton. But then there was also that feeling of, I don't really like you. It's so difficult to get along with you. That kind of thing. And that's why when he came to my Edmonton, he was an Express Edmonton guest. And I played that song, that one song, which is, and music is positive in a way. It's not the most dangerous association because it's singing, it's not the person speaking, really showing you who they are more so. But I did choose that song by Call It Baron Reed, Magdalene's Garden, The Fortunate Ones, and I played that as this person is coming in. But that relationship that I had is now over. And I've had a couple relationships where I've been seeing the shadows and sort of hearkening and getting reminded of the same relationship again. Although these relationships are better relationships. And maybe when you do form that negative association with this person, through this person, this other person that you're using to express this person, and then you see that person that you use to express this other person in a negative way, well, maybe if you want to see them in a positive way again, that may also mean maybe considering seeing the person that you want to express not as someone that you want to express, or maybe not as much as before, depending upon the relationship, of course. Maybe, we've had the Jupiter-Neptune conjunction on April 12th. It was definitely a time where so many people were probably not feeling the express energy. Saturn moving into Pisces might weaken the express energy. Jupiter into Taurus might weaken the express energy. The North Node moving into Aries this July is going to strengthen the fight that you have with someone that you don't like if this person's situation is not right for you. So, that's what's going on. But I can compare these two things because these are really big things. I feel more comfortable talking about the relationship I had with this person because it was almost out of my control and I didn't exactly choose to being this person. I didn't entirely get myself in the situation. It was work and it was, school, and an obligation, of course, inside the constructs of a building where it was productive, for my time. It does feel more uncomfortable to talk about this setting because it is something that I put myself into, that I got myself into the situation. And even though it's not right for me, I still continue to do it because that same desire and drawing, allure feeling is still there. And yet it comes and goes. We're in small doses, maybe it's fine. I go there, it feels, it almost doesn't feel right to go into the situation, just like it almost didn't feel right to interact with this person, and I shied away from it, even though I did show up willing to interact with this person, get to know this person. I showed up at this situation, at the place I'm talking about, willing to go in there and sit in there and do all those things, and yet it was not right for me, and I still shied away from it, and I rejected it, and it didn't feel worth my time to be in there, even though there was a part of me that wanted to give it all that I had in terms of how it would feel and taking the most advantage of this opportunity. But then there was that other part of me that says, no, this is just not right. And so on repeat, the sort of desire comes and then it gets fulfilled, but then it doesn't get fulfilled, and then it fizzles out, and then later on it then comes back and returns. So I've noticed it does come in waves. And now it's coming in that wave again. I occasionally there has to be a situation or something that I engage in that is a little bit inaesthetic to me, but it's not so that I am wasting time or I am going this place or doing this direction and sitting around feeling weird and not feeling in my element and feel like I am doing myself an injustice and going against my better judgment and all that. But yet, a situation of, an activity where, yes, I may be going against my better judgment. This isn't entirely whom or what I value, yet it's not where I would feel weird, where it's a physical situation, physically, where you're physically with other people out in the open. And I'm wondering what to say, what to respond. And I wouldn't know how to interact with this person in this situation, or I wouldn't know, or this person, whoever him or her may be, despite how extroverted I have become, shows qualities that aren't true to me. And I will find alternative ways. Probably ways that I can turn to when I feel like it, in the comfort of my own home. Or something really significant is that black building. And maybe some of you know what's in there, some of you don't know what's in there. Some of you know, some of you don't, depending, it's all about your trust and how if I feel like I can trust you or not with what's in there. And it used to be the pure energy of desire. And now that has sort of turned into something more feminine in nature, more, And so I do have that as something that I can turn to if I ever want to, with, those, what I have in that building. And another thing is social media, especially TikTok. And there's a lot that I can find on there. So, um, it's basically when someone's doing a video or live stream, in a way they're performing like I'm performing right now, and you're not in direct contact with that person. You're not out in the open exposed to that person. It's not right for you. And yeah, so it is different. And while I do feel the pull to go in the situation, every time I do, I end up losing interest. And every time I do feel like I'm wasting my time. It's not worth it to me. And then I end up leaving. That's just how it is all the time. So there has to be some thing that I can do that is satisfactory, and that does feel fun, and I do feel comfortable or more comfortable doing it and engaging in that. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to go back to that particular place again unless I'm passing through. Now I have no more interest in children at parks. Now I am going to be moving in new directions, going other places on the scooter, doing it for just a reason going on there, not really for the motives that I had. I'm not going to bend myself over, and definitely not ignoring what's what I need to do and what's part of what I value and all those things for those types of situations anymore. However, I know that if I don't do something that will be fulfilling to that part of me that does have the desire, it's probably going to be creeping back up over and over again. And I may lose sleep over it. So that's the one thing I will say. If only I had not been riding along on the afternoon of 5/29/21. And on that day, I was, I just came across two, I'm going to, use a word that's not in my vocabulary. And you may look at me funny, but it does feel taboo for me to say this. I saw two boys on skateboards going down the road. And I was just going along minding my own business at that time in particular. And they, saw me. I sort of saw them and then went into the street. And then we interacted for a brief moment. And then they were really irresponsible and almost had me run into a car that was honking at me and the other two because they were distracting with me, and the car was at that intersection. And then I saw that they continued on down through that intersection, and I went back to where they went later and saw that, that place, that, skate park. And sometimes I lay awake at night regretting that I did not take advantage and go in and experience that. At the time, I didn't do it. It's been sort of me, years and months of acquiring it, of acquiring that particular setting in in increments and gradually. And so it sort of continued. I did see individuals in there, and for several months I didn't go in there. Maybe it was just to see if there was anyone there or not. And then it was only until 2022 that I actually went in there into that fenced in area when there were other people there. And so that feeling of wanting to do that was there for the course of the spring of 2022. And then I had that one experience, and that the people almost hitting me with the mopeds, that sort of dissuaded me from going in that situation, going to that particular place. I then sort of, over the summer when things got warmer, went there again and met and I don't know, put myself into that situation. And then 2022, after August 12th of 2022, I stopped doing that. It's only up till now that I did feel that feeling of wanting to go there again. And now I'm at the point where nothing's happened. I didn't have a negative experience, but after this time, this whole amount of time, I have finally, hopefully, lost interest in that. I finally decided I'm not going to go to this place in this situation anymore. Because every time I do, it feels almost taboo. And it feels like I'm rebelling against myself, like not doing something that I should be doing, not doing something right for me, and that rebellious energy. Just rebelling for the sake of rebelling, unless you're rebelling and you really mean it and it is the right thing to do and you're willing to do, go against yourself for this higher, or whatever the reasoning may be. But every time that happens, of where I go into there, I'm almost always questioning, why am I there? What am I doing? I shouldn't be doing this. Who am I to be here? I don't, skate. It's not something that I want to do. And I've also moved on from, high school and that whole thing. And it's just not right. Whoever is there, and I don't feel like it's the right situation for me. And then I continued, hopefully, to put myself in that situation. I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. Instead, I'm going to be choosing alternative things which fulfill, both the feminine and masculine need to be in balance. Because when you do something that feels so good to your ego, so good to your desires, internally it doesn't feel right. And then you do so many things internally that is on the feminine side, and yet there's still this part of you that does have this desire. When the abundance comes, that I feel with curiosity and open-mindedness, open-heartedness to these people, people, things, in comes that desire then, because I have so much to back it up, so much to, I guess, feel good about, grateful for, that I can drop into. And I barely covered all of it up with a Band-Aid. You don't want to put a Band-Aid on that. If you need to have yes, particularly the feminine, particularly your emotional foundation, stuff in your life going well. You've taken care of yourself. And you feel good about what you have. Your relationships are going well. Your home life, of your home and family life, is going well. Your intermediate environment is positive, and you feel good about it. And you have certain things that you have as abundance and foundations, emotional foundations, to back you up for then entering into the situations which are risky, and they're not right for you, and they may not be in alignment with your values. And, well, I can only say that the North Node's in Taurus and South Node's Scorpio is about risk taking in a way, and merging, letting go, and the taboos and all this kind of things. The North Node in Taurus is really where the soul ends up calling all of us to then choose to live life according to what is we value, and to have those earthy foundations, and to live a life of peace and presence, and simplicity, and truth, and have a lot of self-respect and self-love, and all those kind of North Node and Taurus traits. So that's what on a soul level, I guess you could say, that's what is calling me, and has been, despite the South Node, or despite the sort of Scorpio. The Scorpio deals with desire, of that kind of desire, which internally feels, I get shaky, a little chilly, anticipated, and sort of unsettled, internally, like I'm sitting upon something and I really want to go after this. And so don't put a Band-Aid on the your values by just going out into this situation, going out into the world, unless it's an obligation, unless it's something you need to do and genuinely want to do, without that ego mind wanting to control your life, and without going in a situation that you don't, when you drop in, you don't feel secure enough inside yourself to enter the situation, and yet you are solely trying to rely on your ego to go into the situation. Well, at a certain point, something has to give, and you need to, go in that situation and realize, actually, now that I'm here, now that I've done this, it actually does not feel right like it did when I was in bed sleeping, or at home, or somewhere else. The idea of this situation, or the vision for this relationship, or the idea of me getting along with this person, spending time with this person, or this situation, felt good. But now that you would be in that situation, in that place, or with that person, it actually doesn't feel right anymore. It's like Mercury retrograde. You do something, you start something, and you may not be feeling really good, and it may not be right for you after the retrograde, or Venus retrograde. Buy a new clothing from the store which you bought that you were drawn to, and later after it, you decide you weren't. But unless you were truly drawn to it, unless you really wanted it internally, both the masculine and feminine, and I think it was both, because it really was an internal feeling that I had to go to this situation. But now it has fizzled out, and hopefully it will not come back again to give me that kind of calling again. And I don't think that I will be entering that place unless I am probably alone and there's nobody there who knows. But I'm not going to plan on doing that or entering parks just to, if I want to go to the park, not to, because there's certain people there. Anyway, I mean, now it's done officially. Hopefully, I wouldn't have to make another live stream like this. And so I may allow myself to take that risk and see somebody or listen to somebody who, does not resonate with me. But I may have a lot of stuff to back that up. I'm not putting a Band-Aid on that stuff. I may be sitting comfortably in my house on my bed and listening to a video or live stream of this person that why am I watching this? But I'm not somewhere outside of my home. I haven't put myself in a situation. All I did was go on my phone and open up this video, open up this live stream in my home on my bed, and it may feel more comfortable to then listen to somebody or watch somebody, and you're thinking, why am I doing this? But you're at home and in a situation where you feel more secure, and you feel you're safer, first of all, and you're not exposed and vulnerable with this stranger, and you're wondering how to start the relationship, how to interact with them, or what they're going to say to you, or what to say to them, and you question, is this worth your time, energy, your breath? More so, you're sort of shying away and really introverted and then extroverted at the same time. And for you, part of you wants to be courageous and put yourself in that situation of which you are vulnerable to getting spoken to or asked a question that may touch a raw nerve or irritate you, or with this person, and then you feel guilty for why you're there, why you've taken the time and effort to transport yourself to that situation, as opposed to just sitting on your bed comfortably in your own house on your phone watching a video or live stream of this person that you don't like. Or it's just you're thinking, why am I doing this? But yet you're at home and comfortable, all that. I hope that you know what I mean. So anyway, I do want to stop this. This is profound. And actually, if I decided to end this whole thing earlier, that live stream I did about that person who came to me at lunch while I was sitting there eating, that live stream would have been shorter. And that situation that I was in with that person coming to me, it was a situation where I would be more open to talking and interacting with different people respectively, not just going to go up to some random table and start talking to somebody, because that's just not who I am. I have to be honest about that. I have done things, put myself in a situation, initiated conversations and interactions, which I'm thinking to myself, who am I? This is not who I am. And I would be very embarrassed if somebody that I knew and that I really liked witnessed me in that situation. Maybe a little bit less so if they were my age or around my age, and they were, male. Maybe it would be less so, but still, there would be that embarrassment and that guilt there if I was in that situation and somebody saw me, in that, area, if it's an area there, wondering what was I doing there, or, that would be really embarrassing. And an impurity and a ruining and taint to that relationship. With that person that witnessed you in that situation that you deliberately put yourself in. You know that it's not right for you, but you really wanted to, for some rhyme or reason, you just wanted to, and you put yourself in the situation, going against yourself, deliberately going against your better judgment. Not for any obligation, not because you need to, not because of this person that you like or you're friends with or whoever's in that situation, But, yeah. So, for better or for worse, I didn't come with any insults thrown in my direction or any negative incident or any physical injuries. And when it comes to deliberately putting myself in a situation where I end up hurting myself and something really negative happens when I'm on my scooter, when I end up falling off my scooter, going in this particular place, and I did that to myself, I really find it more difficult to forgive myself because I did put myself in this situation and it was on me. So anyway, yeah, so I mean, that's all I want to say. So anyway, that's it for today.